No doubt. Thank you, Mr. Longshot. That was very helpful, very concise.
Absolutely.
Do we have any, well, we'll go ahead. Do we have any questions now, or do you want to?
I had a couple questions for him tonight.
Okay, great.
Mr. Waltz Morocco, just to be clear, per the ordinance 145252, back in December of '73, the zoning was changed.
Correct.
Can you tell me why? What that happened?
Actually, I do not. I have a copy of the ordinance, but...
Just curious why you would change zoning.
Well, we do have AB 283, which followed for consistency. I think it was related to that kind of concept, though it predated the AB 283.
Okay.
But it was consistent with the general plan, and it is today. So, by the way, up until they took the R5 away in '73,
Yes.
R5 zone does allow a hotel.
R5 does allow
The
it.
zone R5 would have allowed a hotel. And the most important thing I want to bring up about that, to clarify, is if in 1965, when they came to make their building up to code,
Yes.
when it was substandard, they did not ask for any change of use. They did not ask to turn it into a hotel. They had every right to.
They could have that.
They could have. Now, again,
Because of the underlying zone.
because
Was
of the
allowed at
underlying
that
zone,
time.
no variances, no conditional uses. At that time, the code would have just allowed you to open one. Most importantly, though, back to our definitions, they would have had to remove the kitchens.
Correct.
But they didn't choose to do any of that. They just remodeled or brought it back up to standards.
Okay, and then I see in the RD zone, you can have apartments, you can have city parks. In some conditions, you can even have horses, but not a hotel. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct.
Okay. You said that they paid SSEP fees, but no TOT fees. So that means they basically, they say they are a hotel, but they've been operating and paying as an apartment.
Correct. They were actually paying for inspections at HCID, and that's what they do.
I see. And then this building and safety appeal, if their only other option then would be to seek a variance, or what would there be any other option to this?
I started to put together a slide recommending if you wanted to pursue it, what you would have to do. They could go after a plan amendment and a zone change and a conditional use because it's within 500 feet of other residential. I guess theoretically they have the right to petition for a variance, but I believe making those findings would be pretty onerous.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Make it live shot.
Okay, let's go ahead and we'll get to the appellant's presentation. I've got representation cards here from Thomas Nitti as well as Lance Robbins. Let's go ahead and do this. It's a larger issue. Normally we go 7 minutes. Is 7 minutes going to be enough for the presentation?
No, at least as long as you see 10, 15.
Yeah, let's do, we'll go ahead and do 10 minutes because there will be some rebuttal time for you obviously after public comment, and we'll no doubt have some questions as well. So Mr. Nitti and Mr. Robbins, come on up. We'll set the clock at 10 minutes. And then after that, we'll go ahead and take our... Before we start, folks, both of those comments, the hissing and the name calling that just happened, it's just not acceptable here, folks. Free speech is one thing. When you get up and you have your time and you have the floor and you make a statement, that's one thing. When you're disrupting a meeting, and unfortunately, I didn't like what had to happen earlier in this meeting. It's never happened before. You cannot disrupt a meeting. It is absolutely different than public speech. When you want to make a public comment, come up, say what you want to say. Say whatever you want to say, and that's fine. But if you are disrupting a meeting, it's simply not acceptable. From anybody, I don't care what your agenda is. Does that make sense? You guys understand where I'm coming from? Please be respectful. Free speech is not the right to disrupt a meeting. People disrupt a meeting, they have to go. We have public business here, okay? Let's get to it. We've got 10 minutes here. Use it as you see fit between your representatives here, and then we'll go to public comment. We'll hear from everybody who wants to be heard from, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'd first like to know if I can question, I have a question of the zoning administrator.
No, we'd like you to make your presentation to the commission.
First of all, I'd like to say this is not a popularity contest. There'll be public testimony tonight that we need housing. That's irrelevant to the issue at hand. This is not a policy decision tonight. This is not an issue regarding a housing shortage. The issue before you is as follows. Is the C of O in error, or should the C of O be interpreted correctly to allow short-term rentals. I was present at the 417 Oceanfront Walk hearing on March 20th, 2019 here. I saw virtually no discussion of the issues raised by the owner of that property. I heard a lot of discussion about the housing crisis, but that was not and is not the issue before you. I then heard a commissioner ask if we could just adopt the ZA's findings and close that matter on March 20, and that was done. Under the case of Topanga versus the County of Los Angeles, the court held that commissions like yours must render findings to support their ultimate rulings. The court must then determine whether substantial evidence supports the findings and whether the findings support the commission's actions. If you choose to simply adopt the zoning administrator's findings at the end of this hearing as your own findings, that will not satisfy the legal standard. This is because the zoning